Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Running the Bases. I'm Michael Garaffa, joined by Ryan Blank and Death Star fan, who is also known as Austin Green. We have breaking news right now as Yoshinobu Yamamoto has signed a 12-year, $325 million deal with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Austin is here to talk about it because he is a Dodger insider, Dodger specialist, I guess we could say. He's going to chat about it. He's got to run, and I want him to talk about it, and he's not feeling well. So he's going to get it all out and start off the show with his thoughts and what this means.
Yeah, this isn't hallucinating from the sinus meds I took. Like, this actually happened, right, guys? Like, Yamamoto signed with the Dodgers.
Yes,
okay,
this
cool.
happened.
Just double checking. Yeah. First of all, gotta be careful about the word insider these days. I do not report.
Yeah, I forgot the word that I normally use. Analyst. You're an analyst. You're a Dodgers analyst.
It's the sort of thing where, like, you can hear stuff, but like, unless you're like dedicated and like really really have put in the work to verify the things you hear. Sometimes I hear things that are accurate. Sometimes I hear things that don't, but I would never put myself out there and go out on a limb and be an insider, especially after, we've seen how many people have gotten burned this offseason. But yeah, like I was telling Ryan and Michael before I came on, this is the one as a fan I felt least confident in. I thought, I think the Glasnow trade would have happened regardless. I think that the Dodgers, now there are a lot of teams desperate for Ohtani, but I think the Dodgers were the most desperate and seemed to be the best fit and kind of were the favorites for like kind of the entire past year. And I thought that, of course, I believe some of the Toronto smoke when it came out, but it always seemed like that there was no – Dodgers are usually really good about sticking to their limits when it comes to bidding wars and stuff, which is why I'm surprising Yamamoto, but I kind of knew that there was no limit with Ohtani. Yamamoto, I'm stunned by. I thought the Yankees were desperate to get him and would get him. I thought that, especially with the second meeting, the Hideki Matsui rumors, the number 18, blah, 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 which is hilarious in hindsight now, that they would do enough to get Yamamoto. Apparently they didn't. I do know he grew up a Dodgers fan in Japan, watching the likes of Hideo Nomo, Hiroki Kuroda. He was already, it wasn't that long ago that Kenta Maeda, I believe he's my age, he's 25. So, Maeda was pitching for the Dodgers when he was like, what would be in what would be in the U.S. high school, early college years. Yeah, obviously a huge, they came in when they first signed Ohtani, everyone was like, oh, the Dodgers are unstoppable now. And I thought, like, shameless plug, for my employer, but the Bear Bets podcast on Fox Sports had a really good segment where Chris Felica, who you guys might know as a college football guru, but is really an all sports guru. That guy is incredible. Kind of pointed out that they don't have pitching. They didn't have pitching at that point. This is before the Glasnow trade. They got burned by that. That's how the Diamondbacks teed off on them, is because their best option to start game one was either Bobby Miller, who they probably should have gone with in hindsight, an unproven rookie, or Clayton Kershaw, whose shoulder was messed up to the point he had to have major surgery in the offseason and now will miss the first half of next season. He's still a free agent, by the way, and the other team that he would ever go to just won the World Series, so we'll see. So they didn't have any pitching. I thought the Glasnow trade would have happened regardless because they had to do something to address the pitching rotation. Obviously, Shohei's not signing there next year. Obviously, Shohei's not going to be on the mound next year as he recovers. So, yeah, I really thought that they would kind of hit a limit with Yamamoto and the Yankees would exceed that. Apparently, I kind of had that backwards. The Dodgers outbid the Yankees. And Yamamoto decided to go all in and decided to be part of this with Shohei and with this kind of core that they're building, where they kind of have these big, I guess, 5 superstars now who are all on big contracts and are all, going to basically form the nucleus of the team. The Dodgers still have obviously a good core there. Will Smith is, I think, one of the most underrated catchers in baseball. They have some other really young, intriguing pitchers in that rotation. Evan Phillips is an unbelievable closer. There's still some things they can do. I'd imagine they're not going to, obviously, it'd be absurd right now to expect them to pivot to a big money free agent. There were whispers that they'd go after Josh Hader if they didn't get Yamamoto. Obviously, I don't know how much money they have left to spend. Shohei still hits Shohei still counts $46 million against the luxury tax next year, so it's not like he's not a factor in their tax bill. And I know that they don't want to exceed every single apron if they haven't already. So I don't know, man. It's kind of incredible just to see that this ownership is willing to go all in, and much more importantly, Shohei Ohtani is willing to do whatever he can to go all in. Last thing is, I 1,000% thought that this was the Yankees' battle to lose, and I thought that honestly, the fact that he was supposed to show up at the Rams game. There were comp tickets reserved for both Shohei Ohtani and Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Ohtani was there with his interpreter and his agent, and it sounds like Yamamoto was supposed to be there. So I thought, he's not going there. That means, he's clearly finalizing something, and that probably means he's finalizing with the Yankees. So it's going to be an incredible team to watch. The star power is going to be off the charts. The prices are going to be off the charts. But I know that nobody's really feeling too bad for Dodgers fans when it comes to that. It's pretty, I felt this way. I remember when Freddie Freeman signed and they had that Mookie Freddie trio at the top of the lineup in 2022, which I still don't know how they didn't win the World Series that year. And I texted, there was a Bleacher Report video that they did when they signed, when the Warriors signed Kevin Durant, that was like this fake musical number about being this villainous super team. I feel like that's the way the Dodgers are. So, and I feel like, last year was a bit of a punt year to set up this offseason. They still somehow won 100 games despite a patchwork pitching staff that immediately imploded in the postseason. I'd argue they almost overachieved in the regular season as opposed to underachieving as the postseason as opposed to 2022. But incredible. I mean, it's an incredible time to be a Dodgers fan. Few complaints here, and it sounds like that we are now going to be the number one team in multiple countries. So,
that's rough. Well, I appreciate you coming on, Austin. I appreciate the insight. You gave us the perfect Dodger background there for a fan of someone who supports the Dodgers, has grown up watching them, so more than us. It's wild, man. It's wild.
It's incredible. I mean, I was
texting
a buddy of mine who also works in the industry, and we were just exchanging the LeBron smiling through it all. Can't believe this is my life poster meme, and it's kind of how I feel. So,
I mean, how could you not? I mean, the Dodgers are far and away the best team in baseball, and if you don't win the World Series this year, then you failed. I mean, the Dodgers are winning the World Series. If they don't win the World Series,
here's what the most people think that the most Dodgers thing imaginable is for the Dodgers to choke in the NLDS and lose to like the Reds or whoever. The most Dodgers thing imaginable is for them to run the table and win the World Series this year with Ohtani at basically half strength because you're not getting any pitching out of him, and then never win another title for the remainder of the time Ohtani is there. That is that is the most Dodgers thing ever. We'll see. We'll see, but it's going to be an incredible. It's going to be an incredible. It's going to be an incredible moment. It's going to be an incredible. It's going to be an incredible scene to watch all those guys together doing their thing. The Dodgers have done a really good job of team camaraderie over the past few years. I don't think this changes much, especially with how much Shohei has been a vocal team player. It'll be interesting to see how they, fill up the roster with the type of you want to use the Warriors comps with the Zaza Pachulias, with the Nick Youngs, with the 1-year deal role players. I do think it wouldn't shock me if Clayton Kershaw or Kike Hernandez was back. Justin Turner is pretty much a DH now, and the DH spot in the Dodgers is pretty well filled for the next decade. So, but I do expect, I wouldn't be surprised if some of the veterans who've been a big part of this past decade do come back for another year, but we'll see.
I mean, this makes them, if I'm a veteran, like a guy like Evan Longoria, who I've never won a ring before, I'm taking a 1-year, $20,000 deal just to be a part of that team and win a ring. I mean,
and what, are you saying just ride the bench because they have Max Muncy at third base?
Yeah, no. I'm saying ride the bench, play in the minors, don't care, get a ring. That's all that matters. If I'm an old guy who's not going to play for a contender again, dude, I'll sign with you for $2 just to get a ring this year. I mean, come on, they're a super team. It's insane.
If I'm picking nits, they do need right-handed hitting. And they, everyone always could use an extra bullpen arm because you never know how those are going to go. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what's next. This is, in terms of big deals, this has to be it.
Oh yeah, this is the last big deal of the offseason.
But it'll be interesting to see how the rest shakes out. I mean, there's still the Braves aren't going anywhere. The Phillies still have incredible vibes. It's not all the pressure is on the Dodgers right now. It's a familiar position with them. And I think it'll be interesting because on one hand, you have 2020 after they acquired Mookie and, just ran the table in the short season, best team in the regular season, bulldoze through the playoff, bulldoze through the playoffs, rallied and came back against the Braves, took care of the Rays. And then you have 2022 where they looked like an even stronger team. And then for whatever reason, it just collapsed. We'll see this year. I do think that getting three insanely talented guys added to the roster who have never won a World Series ring will help a lot.
Yeah, probably will.
Yeah. Anyway, have fun. I enjoyed drinking your tears, Michael. Ryan, the Royals have had a very nice offseason themselves. They could win 82 games and win this. I look forward. I look forward to when they win
the division, baby. Battle for the division. Let's go.
When they win 82 games, run the table in October, and beat the Dodgers in the World Series. Just remember this. So
I'm here for that. I'm here for that.
There you go.
That's great.
There you go. All right, guys. I'm gonna stick my face in some steam because I'm dying here. So
understandable.
Feel better.
Well,
all right.
Appreciate you coming on, man.
Good seeing you guys.
Yeah, so that was Austin Green, Dodgers analyst, not insider or anything. That was a misspeak by me. But I'll pop in with a little bit of initial reaction. I mean, this is as bad of a day for me for baseball as I could possibly imagine. I mean, the Mets lost out on Yamamoto, and the Diamondbacks' #1 contender just got even better. So, bad day to be a D-backs fan, bad day to be a Mets fan, man. Wow, what a
bandwagon D-backs fan.
What a horrible night in my life. Man, what a wild deal, though, nonetheless. 12 years, $325 million. It's rumored that the Yankees never went more than 10 years, 300, and that the Mets matched that exact deal, and that he just chose to go to the Dodgers.
Well, no deferrals on the deal, and a $50 million signing bonus as well.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a really big deal, and it's a risky deal. I've been saying it for a while that as great as I think Yamamoto is going to be, it's still a very, very large risk to give a man that has never thrown a pitch in the major leagues that much money for that long. What if he sucks? What if he has a 4.5 ERA and, he's nothing? I mean, I don't see that happening, but the likelihood of it happening is so low. Bailey, thank you. Appreciate it.
Bailey, why do you have to be so nice?
Dude, the D-backs need all the help they can get, man. I'm just here to have fun. But I'm intrigued to hear your initial thoughts, but my initial my initial thoughts. This is just bad for baseball to have the Dodgers be this good. It just is. As bad as it is to say, this is not good for the game of baseball. I'm sorry. This is bad for baseball. This is going to make the Dodgers too good, and that shouldn't happen. No team should have this much talent that is so much better than the rest. It is unfair. It is ridiculous, and they realistically should win the World Series 6 of the next 10 years. And that's horrible for baseball. It's going to kill the sport if that happens, and it's a shame. I mean, we might not have a good baseball year for a decade at this point because of what the Dodgers are doing. They should be outlawed. Ban the Dodgers. All right, what are your thoughts?
Couple things. I saw a funny tweet, and I agree with it. The Diamondbacks broke the Dodgers and made them spend over $1.1 billion, and to give up one of their top prospects as well.
Heck
So,
yeah.
good job, Diamondbacks. But what have I said since I met you, Michael, about baseball?
A lot.
What does baseball need?
I don't know.
A salary cap.
Oh, yeah.
And how has my argument gotten better? Let's just look at the Dodgers this year.
Yeah.
Baseball needs a salary cap. And honestly, kind of needs a salary floor too, because teams are just going to tank. But
I agree. They need a salary floor.
Besides the point, this could have been prevented if the MLB just got their heads out of their you-know-whats and put in the salary cap.
You can say it on the show. We're not on the radio
What
anymore.
you have to look at is that the Dodgers pace themselves so well because they're like, okay, the Mets do this. Let's just give you an additional $50 million as a signing bonus. But most importantly, what do the Dodgers have? One of his
Shohei
teammates.
Ohtani.
Yep, there it is. You knew Shohei was going to be a big factor in this.
Of course.
And let's just say this. He is. And he was. And he got Yamamoto to sign with him. So Dodgers did a perfect job this offseason. Also, that rotation, wow.
It's top heavy. It's top heavy.
Yeah, but look, if Bobby Miller pans out,
yes.
If their young talent pans out, they bring back Kershaw, who's back for the second half.
Bueller
comes back. Yeah, you're mentioning these names. This is a very, very good rotation.
Yes. At its best, it will be great.
And
but right now, there's question marks.
I'll say this, though. 12 years is a lot.
Yeah.
I'm worried about the 12 years. But you knew he was going to get this money. Whether you agree or disagree with it, you knew it was going to happen. So that's the big deal here, is that people can say, oh, this is terrible. Why are you giving him that much money? You saw it was going to happen. Everybody said he was going to get this much money.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I agree. I think $325 is a lot of money for a guy that's never thrown a pitch in the major leagues. But that's just what the demand is for him. And Dodgers, Andrew Friedman, people were calling for his head. Calling for him to be fired. And what has he done in the last couple weeks? I don't know. Shohei, Glass now, and now Yamamoto. He saved his job, and people love him now.
We got a good comment here from YCB. Dodgers are going to end up being the 1990 to 2010 Yankees. I mean, it's hard to argue that. Really hard to argue that. I mean, there's no way this Dodgers team, I mean, we can say it all we want. We make fun of the Dodgers all the time about how they don't win the World Series. They have not won a real World Series in 30 years. There's no reason not to now. If you don't win the World Series now, I mean, you're a failure.
But this is the best thing about baseball is that nothing is guaranteed. We all thought the Braves were going to roll to the World Series, lose to the Phillies. We thought the Dodgers were going to roll over the Diamondbacks, lost.
Right. Bailey, great point. MLB format is very unpredictable. So
that's the saving grace.
I mean, the Diamondbacks and Rangers World Series this year was never going to happen.
I predicted the Rangers.
That's the good thing. Yeah, but a D-backs Rangers, the likelihood of the Diamondbacks.
Rangers was one of the most unlikely scenarios if you look at odds. But what you have to look at is that the Dodgers really said, you know what, we're tired of this. Let's go spend whatever it takes to win. And that's what they're doing. And you have to give Friedman credit. You have to give their owners credit for saying, you know what, let's open up our checkbooks even more. So you got to give credit to that much as well. Again, it's not the best thing for baseball. It's not. Because now you have a super team, and super teams kill the competition. They kill sports. I hated the Warriors when they got KD because I thought it was stupid. I thought it was bad for the league. And I don't know if it's necessarily terrible for the MLB, but again, I think it's really cool in an aspect of when you look at it, Japan loves this because they get to see two of their finest players on one team.
Yep.
And it just grows the popularity of the game in other countries as well because of that. So that's a really cool aspect of it. Again, I thought he was a Met or a Yankee. I thought that, and again, as reports started coming out, I was thinking more towards the Yankees. Like Austin said, you heard the whole thing about the number 18 jersey, which now, like you said, is very funny. I think it's hilarious. But also Hideki Matsui getting involved. But I just think that when you come down to look at it, him being a Dodgers fan, also wanting the bright lights, it makes sense. Again, I think I predicted him to the Mets. And I still think that he could have gone there easily. He just wanted to go to the Dodgers. And I think that's the difference. It's not just that the Dodgers outbid everybody. It's just that he preferred the Dodgers, and he can't control that. But I thought the Mets were going to be one to get him because Kodai Senga pitch there was fantastic for them last year. So it's crazy to think that the Dodgers did this. It really is.
I said it on the show during the Juan Soto trade. I knew there was no world in which the Yankees got Yamamoto. It wasn't going to happen. Everyone said it was a possibility. You knew the Mets weren't going to get outbid. It simply wasn't going to happen. The Mets were never going to get outbid by the Yankees, and there's no way you're going to pick the Yankees over the Mets. There's no reason to. So at this point, I mean, it makes me feel good to know that the Mets would have had it over the Yankees regardless, if that mattered.
Well, hold on. He might have preferred the Yankees. It might not have been all money-based.
They never would have matched any money.
But who knows if it was all entirely money-based here?
Right.
That's the concept that we have to look
at.
The
thing that leads me to think is that it was the same price that the Mets gave. Because I think what it was is that the Dodgers were probably closer to the Yankees number. The Mets were at 325. He went to the Dodgers and said, if you match this, I'll sign there. And they probably matched it. Because there's no way.
Though, is that signing bonus.
Yes, that probably was. Yeah. I think that makes a difference. But who knows? We won't know. We don't know the Mets at this point. And it's funny to me that it probably ended up coming down to the Mets or the Dodgers. And I said it. I've been saying it this whole time that if anyone's going to take him away from the Mets, it's the Dodgers. They had Shohei Ohtani and they have the bright lights and they're going to win. They're going to win.
Yeah.
And him going there further proves that. If him going to the Mets, that doesn't guarantee them winning yet. So I understand. It makes sense. I was just praying he didn't pick the Yankees over the Mets just for the sake of going there because there was no sense in doing that. They were both in the same spot and the Yankees' legacy doesn't matter. And it came down to he wanted to play for the Dodgers. The Mets did everything they could. And the other thing that leads me that also I think is a factor here, the Mets having the same amount as the Dodgers just goes to show you they didn't want to give a higher bid because they knew they weren't going to get it. He must have made it clear he wanted to play for the Dodgers or else they would have upped that number even higher because 325 is not nearly as high as I thought they would have gone, which was 400. I thought the Mets would have gotten close to that if they really thought they had a chance. So Steve Cohen wanted him. He did everything he could. Just couldn't get it to connect. And that's the thing that sucks for me is I had such high hopes. I thought he was going to be a Met. I was certain until I found out the Dodgers were involved. And that changed everything. When it was Mets Yankees, it was great. The Mets are going to get him. But the Dodgers changed everything. I mean, having Shohei Ohtani, that changes baseball. Now, like I said before, people are going to want to play for the Dodgers just because they know they can get a ring. I mean, it's a free ring practically. You walk in,
it's never free though. It's never free.
But it feels that way. I mean, it just does. It feels like you set foot on that spring training field.
That's the best thing about sports is that nothing is given.
Yes, of course.
So that's the best part. And again, it's crazy to think that the Dodgers swooped in and took Yamamoto. It really is. But now the domino has fallen. Let's see what happens with Snell, Montgomery, and all these other guys, even Hader. I'm excited to see where these guys go. So again, I still think it's crazy that Yamamoto is also a Dodger, but he must have made it clear that that's where he wanted to be. And maybe that's what he told the Mets is, whatever you offer me, I'm not going to take it. I want to go to LA. I want to play with Ohtani. I want to play for the team I grew up rooting for. It just seems the Dodgers had those little advantages that the Mets could not match. And I think that's the difference.
And the Mets are in a completely different spot right now. The Dodgers are going to win without Yamamoto. The Mets are not. I mean, the Mets needed him. They needed him so badly or else they weren't going to make it. Same with the Yankees. I mean, the Mets and Yankees are both right now not going to make the playoffs. So they needed starting pitching and they needed him really, really badly. And it's too bad. It really is.
The largest contract for a pitcher in MLB history just went to a guy who has never thrown a pitch in the MLB. That is crazy to think, but if he is as advertised, it'll be worth it. It just depends on how he translates over to the majors. That's all it looks at now. And you know what? I think the best thing for the Dodgers, do not make him your one. Take the pressure off of him. Have Glasnow be your opening day guy. Take the pressure off of Yamamoto, who is making this move over. That's what they should do. Do I think it's going to happen? No. But I think you need to take the pressure off of him and not have him be your opening day guy. Not even start the year as your one. Let him get used to the way that MLB is played and let him make his transition.
I agree. Ryan, I know that you've got to head out, so I will let you sign off and I'll finish up, give my final thoughts. But I appreciate you being here. Ryan Blank he's been able to have a great offseason with the Royals. Haven't gotten to talk about it much. We'll get to on a future show at some point.
Somebody's got to let me talk about this because, woo, we're in the fight for the Central, baby.
I appreciate you coming on, man, as always.
Sir.
It's always great to have you. We'll see you in the next one, whenever that is. I'm going to stick around and add some more thoughts to this conversation.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Blank. Thanks. I appreciate it. Double loss for me today.
And to Kayla O'Sullivan, I'm sorry for your loss as well. Make sure to read her comment.
Did she add a comment on here?
Yeah, she texted us a comment.
Oh. Gotcha. I will do that.
All right. See you, my friend.
Goodbye, Ryan. So, okay, yeah. So Kayla O'Sullivan, who is a good friend of the show, also will be on the show at some point. Not today, but she is a Yankees fan. Added this saying, 12 years is a lot, and I realistically would not want the Yankees handing out a contract that long. Hideki gave him a signed jersey, and I speak for all Yankees fans when I say I want it back right now. Tough. It's a tough day for baseball fans around the world that are not Dodgers fans because the Dodgers went out and did the unthinkable, and that is get themselves the best two players on the market. They got the best player in baseball, arguably the best player in baseball history, and they got arguably the best pitcher in Japanese history and definitely the best pitcher in Japan. And they're changing the game. They're changing the game, and whether it's going to end up killing the game of baseball or not mattering at all, we'll have to wait and see. That's something only time will tell. But it's just a tough day for a lot of teams. Tough day for any fan of any team in the NL West. Tough day for New York fans. It is a really, really wild day for baseball. I did not think this deal was going to happen today. I really didn't. I thought that it was going to happen tomorrow. It's a late night deal, but that's because the Dodgers are at 8:55 p.m. right now, and they can do it. They probably caught Steve Cohen and Cashman sleeping and said, all right, we're going to make this deal happen. It just, what I said before makes too much sense that he had to have made it clear he wanted to play for the Dodgers, or else probably both the Mets and the Yankees would have gone more. And that's the thing. Austin said it way early on in this show. You can't trust anything that reporters say, man. You just can't. I mean, come on now. Reporters have been saying all offseason that, the Dodgers have been in that conversation, but they said that the Mets were holding on to a sliver of hope, but the Yankees were right there. And at the end of the day, the Yankees didn't even come close, numbers wise. The Mets were way closer, I'm sure, than the Yankees were. You can't trust anyone until it happens. You have to wait until the moment that Jeff Passan tweets out that deal. And that's when you know for a fact, all right, this guy is going to this place. Because he's the only person that I trust right now, and I think a lot of people trust. And if this offseason has taught us anything, it is that you can't assume anything. You cannot assume that a reporter is being truthful. You can't assume that their sources are being truthful. You have to wait until the moment it happens. And as of right now, we've seen that with Ohtani. We saw that with some of the Yamamoto news today. It's been a weird offseason. Everyone knows it. It's been a weird offseason for baseball. A lot of things are going to start to happen now. I'm sure that Blake Snell's contract will end up developing here. I don't think we have anything big until after Christmas at this point. I really don't. There also aren't tons of people left. I'm disappointed because we missed out on Glasnow and on Ohtani on this show. We were going to do breaking news shows for both. Both of them happened when I wasn't home, so we couldn't do the show. Ohtani was at a day I was fully out of the house all day, and Glasnow's deal was weird where we didn't know if he was going to be there because he had to sign an extension. We were pretty sure he would, but once that extension signed, wasn't able to do a show then either. So I'm glad I was able to at least do this because, man, if I missed out on all three of those big deals and all three of them for the Dodgers, just what are we doing here as a show? We're doing breaking news shows. I've got to be reliable. I mean, I want people to come back and watch. We're going to be here for every breaking news, every big deal that happens. That's what I want to do. I want to be here to cover it because I know that as a fan of baseball, I want to hear people's thoughts about something when it happens, especially when it relates to my team. And I know that everyone's the same way. And it's interesting to hear people's perspectives about baseball because everyone has a different thought. Everyone has a different perspective. And I want to be here and we want to be here as a show to be able to cover them all live. So I'm glad we were able to be here for this one. It's too bad that it didn't go down the way that'll make baseball a better place. But you know what? At the end of the day, like Ryan said and Austin said and Bailey said, baseball is such a fun sport because anything can happen. The Arizona Diamondbacks were the 2023 National League champions. That never should have happened. It shouldn't have. It's just there was no reason for that to happen. And it did. Anything can happen. The Dodgers could go under 500 this year. It's probably not going to happen, but that's the beauty of baseball is that you just don't know. So more talking to myself here, but for everyone that's saying that this is bad for baseball and this is going to ruin baseball forever, just remember that that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the case. Until the Dodgers win 3 World Series in a row, doesn't matter. You know, baseball's going to be baseball. Great comment here by YCB. Baseball's baseball, man. We're just happy to watch the sport that we love, and we're just happy to see baseball, man. It's going to be back in a few months. We're less than 100 days away from opening day. We've still got a lot that's going to happen in this offseason. I can't wait to do it. We've got a couple other shows that we're going to be doing. Hopefully we will get in our top 50 players of the year. We're going to do that show at some point. I just really want to do it by the end of the year. The likelihood of that happening, I don't know. Timing has not been great for us. We've got a lot of busy schedules between me, Nick, and Ryan. So trying to get in those regular shows is tough, but we're trying. So if you like our content, please leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We're going to try and go live anytime we can for any big breaking news. So please be on the lookout. We do other shows as well. We do a lot of great content. We do have a lot of fun. We're funny guys, I promise. You could check out some of our other stuff. But thank you guys for tuning in. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, a Los Angeles Dodger, 12 years, $325 million. It's a wild contract. It's a wild day for baseball. Thank you so much for watching. Keep your eye out for the rest of off-season content, and we'll see you in the next one.